Thank you, Paula, and thank you for being here. In fact, I will talk about RoboCity, is the name of my presentation, but before that, um, okay. But before that, I speak a little bit about my work, and so that you understand the context of what I will be telling after. Uh, by the beginning of last century, we can already say things like this. I became interested in the possibility of having machines, in that time computers, to produce something new, something creative, something that didn't exist before and that it was not controlled by me. So in that time I call it artificial creativity based on the idea of artificial intelligence. In that time it was a bit polemic. Now it's accepted by everybody that people talk about artificial creativity. But in order to do that, I started first with computers, with algorithms, producing some drawings, something. But then around 2000, 2001, I could use artificial life algorithm, that is an algorithm where the emergent behavior is quite important. That means that something starts random, but after there is an order emerging. And some of you will know what I'm talking about, like ant algorithms and things like that in that time. And so I could connect an ant algorithm in a computer to just a CAD/CAM machine serving as a kind of a robotic arm. This produced a drawing, original. I didn't, it was not programmed by me, this drawing. And in fact, this work, it was one of my first, and this is the work that defined everything that I did after. And it was really important not only for me and for you to not think that I'm just exaggerating, because this is like a child drawing, but it's done by a machine. In fact, this drawing was published at the cover of the Artificial Life magazine from MIT, because scientists also saw on this something very interesting, because until that moment, the ant algorithms, for example, were producing drawings in a computer or paths and things like that, but this was really physical, and it was coming to the real world, and that interests a lot some scientists, inclusive the scientist who created the ant algorithm, which is today a friend of mine. I didn't know him by then. So after that, I've worked with several robots. Probably you are seeing a few. This was in Serralves. It's accelerated so that we can understand that these robots, in this case, is a swarm. It's a group of robots. What they do is they react to color. So where they see color, and they put more color or not, because it's not so linear. But what that means is that from a start, which is a white canvas, they will build a composition, and a composition that it was not predetermined. So, and you see when you accelerate, it's very curious that you will see that they will spend more time in that corner after a while. And they will paint much more there, and they will create there some cluster of color. So some example. This, for example, was another robot that I created that can write. And this robot published a book of poems in Coimbra a few years ago, because he can write words. And so it's like the automatic poems of the surrealists. You just put some words together and you get a poem. But okay, you never know what kind of poem he's making. And he also makes paintings with letters and words. And this is a robot that I've created for the Museum of Natural History in New York, and is there. Is there inside a cage, and is making drawings completely on its own already for a few years. He signs when it finishes. On the right, you see it's called RAP, from Robotic Action Painter. He can sign, he decides when to stop, he signs, so he makes drawings by itself. And this is in a museum of natural history, what in the whole of humanity. That's very curious. This is my last work. I create these 5 robots that make paintings based on sound. They hear music. We did already 2 concerts in the concert hall in Lisbon, the CCB, and they make paintings based on Beethoven. That was very interesting. So each of these robots listen to a different frequency and reacts to it. So in the end, we have like a translation of the music to a painting. It's like this. This is one, was there. Doesn't look nothing like Beethoven, but in fact, it is Beethoven, translated in color. Now, this is another project, but I will not. This Robotarium, that's a zoo for robots, is not working. I did already a few. This was done in São Paulo. It's a smaller one, and this is a recent one. So let's go then about Robot City. As I've told before, I think we are now in the phase of censoring, getting sensors to gather data in the cities, in the behavior of cars, people, censoring for humidity, for anything. This is interesting, it's very interesting, very important, it's very important, but it's not the end of the story. We need very quick, and some of the people who talked here already indicate that, we need very quick to get help from machines. Because so much data, we cannot work that all that data on people to do that. We need machines, but we don't need just stupid machines to put data together or to make anything with data. We need intelligent machines. That means that the evolution of the way of living and of cities will depend very much on something that we could call robotization. Robotization would mean robots apply to things, to anything, a car, or anything, and but it means also that when I talk about robots, I don't talk about robots like in factories that do always the same thing. I talk about autonomous, intelligent, creative robots that do things on themselves. Robots that are able to make decisions, to produce even meaning. So I believe that the future, because we are talking about the future of cities, the future of cities depend a lot on robotization. And the other thing, that's a commentary on most of the talks here, and not here only, I see it everywhere. We are still thinking too much human-centered. Everything is humans. The city for humans, the sensors is because humans need. We are always humans, humans, humans. We need also to think a bit of machines. Machines are partners of humans, but they need some freedom. They need some freedom. So we must accept that machines make decisions, and this will be good for us and not bad. Perhaps they make some bad decisions, but politicians also do, and so, okay. And machines, of course, perhaps we will have some problems to control them if they get too nasty, but okay, that's something that we leave for the future. Anyway, I really think that we must understand the process of robotization as a process of machines doing things by themselves. Let me, to explain better what I understand for robot, if I ask people, what is the most popular, most common robot that you know? And most of people will say, vacuum cleaner, there are robots that clean the house. It's the most popular. Many people have one at home. And I would say, no. You have a much more common robot, but you don't probably see it as a robot. This is a robot, very famous. Everybody uses it. And when we think what we do with this thing, it's very clear. I come near to it and say, give me 50 euros. And the machine answers, let me see if you have money in your account. The machine checks if you have money. If you don't have money, say, sorry, I can't give you 50 euros. If you have money, it hands 50 euros to you. If this machine, ATM machine, have the aspect of a humanoid robot, everybody would accept this as a robot. This is a clever, intelligent robot who makes something without any human intervention. So you just ask it money, give it or not money to you, based on a decision that it takes, based on information that it gets. Of course, today we have many examples of robotization, now cars that can park by themselves, now, for example, machines that can print a house, and some creative traffic management, because it's not only for human beings to see where the traffic is flowing, is for machines to make decisions about traffic, for example, traffic lights. And we have today a lot of robots intervening in management, a lot. We don't think so much about it, but in many fields, robots make a lot of decisions that we even don't think anymore about it. And in the future, this will be more and more important, because the city will not evolve only based on robotization in the sense of making living better. The city itself will change a lot, and a lot. I just give, let's say, a small example of practical changes. This is a project from Amazon, as you have probably seen. They want to start distributing books and other goods with drones. If they can do this, all the buildings will need to change their windows. Just think about it. You need to change the buildings completely, because this thing must be able to get inside your house with your book that you bought or some other gadget, and it must get inside the house by a window. Otherwise it will break it or knock on the door. It's not possible. It will need. So imagine if this project would go, I don't know if it will go, if this project would go we need to change completely the buildings in the city, completely, not completely, but in the window aspect, we need to change. New windows will appear that open automatically when they see a drone. Imagine the change of just a very small idea, very simple idea, not very practical probably, but that depends on robotization. Thank you.